international responsibilities as well as local ones.
Is that where you are seen as competing with NHRC?
I think we're not competing. I think the roles are complementary. For example, all new investigations are now done by NHRC with OHCHR support. And I think rather than saying competing, it's important to see that NHRC and other national institutions have a unique opportunity to take advantage of professional expertise for a period of time to help them strengthen their own capacity. But at the same time, I would say that the reason for OHCHR's presence is not the weakness of NHRC. It's the general human rights situation in the country, the pervasive climate of impunity, the progress that needs to be made on inclusion, the progress that needs to be made also on public security.
Can we also know about how OHCHR is trying to strengthen NHRC?
Yeah, I mentioned these guidelines for cooperation, which means that we refer any new cases to the NHRC and we support them to undertake the investigation. I think it's important to remember that NHRC, as the constitutional body, has the mandate to make official investigations and recommendations to the government. OHCHR does not do that. We have a different role. We do not make official recommendations on individual cases. Certainly we report publicly on themes and trends, and we speak out when human rights are being violated. But the roles are quite different. OHCHR continues to support not only the NHRC, but also the other important bodies such as the NDC, the NWC, and the government. We have a number of projects also with the government. We are, for example, monitoring the discharged combatants of the Maoist army, those who were disqualified. We are monitoring especially the verified minors to ensure that they have severed their links with the military command structure.
It's interesting to see that you refer to them as Maoist army, because one of the charges against you again is that you look a little biased. You are often critical of the government rather than the Maoists who are in opposition.
We're equally critical of the Maoists. We've issued
because
reports
normally people use the term combatants
and statements. I didn't use the term PLA, you notice. We speak to the Maoists very sternly, including last week, regarding a number of their actions. You know, the important thing about the UN, where we have an advantage over other bodies, is our impartiality and our perceived objectivity. And I regard it as extremely important to maintain that. And in this situation, we support human rights. We support the peace process. We don't support any particular political party.
Who do you think is violating or abusing human rights? As of now, we're talking about government and the opposition.
Well, I think what we're seeing is different types of human rights violations. During a conflict time, one sees human rights violations which are kind of civil and political rights. But underlying that is also the need to meet obligations under economic, social, and cultural rights. So I think we have to make that distinction. What we're seeing at the moment are in fact, some improvements. We did see, in our view, a very much improved performance from 1st of May through till the end of the general strike from the security forces. And I think that our support, and we work very closely with the security forces, both in terms of training and in terms of helping them develop a human rights culture, our support has played a role in that. And I think the leadership of the security forces have done very well, with perhaps just one exception in Birgunj last week. But overall, the human rights situation is related to the progress in the peace process. And I think...
You're not talking about the violations or abuse of human rights by the opposition. I mean, Maoists were on general strike.
Yes. I mean, of course, some of what is done is simply criminal, because the main responsible party for human rights, for the upholding of human rights, is the state in any country. Nevertheless, the use of children is in demonstrations where they are if they are put in harm's way, is something that we have condemned regularly. The carrying of weapons, the same. And we've also said that, and I'll say again, that the disruption of daily life, the rights of everyone else to get an education, to get health care, to provide services and goods is a concern.
I would have definitely asked that question, because initial report, your initial statement said that the general strike was disciplined.
No, it didn't actually. I said that the 1st of May mass rally was disciplined. What I said in a number of statements after that was I expressed increasing concern the first couple of days, as you...
Don't you think you were a little hastily releasing that statement?
No.
Because Maoists were about to start a general strike for indefinite period.
I don't think so. I think that we monitored carefully, and the rally was peaceful. Had it not been peaceful, I would have commented on that as well.
But even the rally was obstructing the entire city.
Now you're raising an issue of the right to peaceful assembly and freedom of expression. There's a long tradition in Nepal and in other free countries which do allow for mass expression of people's views. And so we have to strike the balance, I think, between enabling freedom of expression, and of course the media is very central to that, and freedom of assembly and peaceful protest, the balance between that, and unnecessary and unfair disruption. A one-day mass rally is something that I think most people accept as being reasonable and consistent with the human rights practice in Nepal.
So, apart from that, we had peaceful rally. Good heavens! I mean, it was really good. But the day the general strike started, there was continuously life was getting disrupted. How do you react to such things?
Well, I think on one hand, we do have a view about bandas and general strikes, and we've made that view known regarding the disruption to essential services, and also regarding intimidation and threats of violence. Both of those are contrary to human rights and contrary to the law. But what I think we witnessed last week was a gradual deterioration day by day, to the point that I think many people were very worried, including myself. And I went to see and met with Prachanda and expressed my concerns to him about the deterioration